order. Please take your seats. We'll go ahead and start off with our pledge. All right, everyone, please stand. Assume the position. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And now we will do the land acknowledgement. We stand upon a land that carries the footsteps of millennia of Kumeyaay people. They are a people whose traditional life ways intertwine with a worldview of earth and sky in a community of living beings. This land is part of a relationship that has nourished, healed, protected, and embraced the Kumeyaay people to the present day. It is part of a worldview founded in the harmony of the cycles of the sky and balance in the forces of life. The Kumeyaay people promote balance in life as they pursue goals of knowledge and understanding. They seek inspiration to open all minds and hearts. All right. I'm going to move that we approve the agenda as it is on the screen. Can I get a second? All in favor, say aye. All right, it's approved. The ayes have it. All right, moving on. Are there any corrections to the minutes from the last meeting from January 13th? All right, thank you. Second, George seconds. All those in favor say aye. The ayes have it. That is approved. Minutes are approved. All right, so now moving on, we are going to do candidate and elected statements. Candidates and electeds will have 1 minute to speak. Do I have any candidates or electeds who would like to come speak for a minute and give an update? Nate, I'm turning on the yellow microphone. If you could raise that a little bit.
I don't know if I can speak for just 1 minute. Hold me to it. Hello, everybody. My name is Alan Gerasi, and I am running for City Council, San Marcos City Council, District 3. So I am excited that my kickoff event on January 27th, many of you were there, and thank you for that. It was a huge success, even though we got kicked out of our spot by a 3-year-old who was having a birthday party. But we did well. We went in the back and we continued the party, and the music, the food, everything was just fabulous. I hope to have more events like that during this campaign. My campaign is guided towards climate action and public safety and all of the issues that are important to us in housing and other things at San Marcos. So please look for my events. Alan Gerasi, District 3.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dennis Martin, San Marcos Unified School District. I just brought a copy of our SMUSD strategic promise. If anybody wants to have a nice little read, it gives an update of what we're planning, what we're doing, all the wonderful things that our district, our award-winning district is doing. That's pretty much it. If you have any questions, I'll hang out. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Marissa Allen, and I am running for Central Committee. I would love to be one of your 6 votes. I've spent much of the last several years dedicated to helping get Democrats elected, knocking doors, making calls, doing postcards, texts, all of that stuff. I'm running because I think there should be more resources up here in North County. We find that the party focuses down in South Bay, in the city core, and we are leaving things on the table up here. Escondido and San Marcos both have pluralities of Democrats, but our governments don't reflect that. And if on Central Committee, I will be running with other folks and getting people that will make it a priority to raise money up here and support this candidate. I'm happy to be running with people like Paul, for example, and I'm proud to have the support of the San Diego and Imperial County Labor Council, Labor Local 89, and it's California Democrats.
What's your name again, please?
Okay, my name is Marissa Allen, I'm third on the ballot. Also have the support of San Diego Dems for Equality. Yeah. Thank you.
Central Committee they are a group of Democrats who choose how the party spends money in San Diego. And then also who the San Diego County Party will endorse, and which candidates to support. And then they set like the bylaws and the rules that govern our club, that roll down to us.
Hi, my name is Sarah Song. I run for the San Diego County Board of Education in District 4. So that covers the North Inland area, everything from Poway Unified School District to Vallecito to Anza-Borrego and Juliet. So the whole 4th county. So I was raised in the Rancho Penasquitas community. I graduated from our local public schools. I had a lot of extracurricular and academic opportunities offered to me in Poway Unified. However, once I started substitute teaching with San Diego Unified and the juvenile court and community schools, they're directly overseen by the San Diego County. I realized that the opportunities weren't the same for all the students. I began teaching 3rd grade in Oakland, California, where I was a member of the California Teachers Association, the Oakland Education Association, and the National Education Association. In the 2018-19 school year, you probably remember nationwide teachers are going on strike. I was able to picket and visit Sacramento and lobby for a higher teacher salary, increased district funding, and increased oversight of our charter networks. As well, as a teacher, I was able to join our district-wide team during their curriculum adoption year. Thank you so much, Sarah Song, for San Diego County Hospital Education.
Hi, I'm Whitney Shanahan. I'm running for Congress against Daryl Issa, and I know that is no small undertaking. A little bit about myself. I'm a national abortion rights activist. I have a social media following of over 500,000 followers, and I've collected over 270,000 signatures to go to Congress and to pass abortion rights nationwide. I feel that this is the year that once I get through the primary in the general, Daryl Issa will have to face off with a mother and an abortion rights activist in a time post Roe v. Wade where everyone is going to be voting on abortion rights. And I think this is our shot to finally get rid of Issa once and for all. So Whitney Shanahan, we are doing canvassing, we are doing phone banking. I'm running a full campaign against him. I would absolutely appreciate any monetary support because this is no small undertaking. And I appreciate any volunteering. I know that I'm a little outside of the district, but I would appreciate it. Whitney Shanahan, thank you.
Stand.com to sign up to volunteer, make a contribution, WhitneyShanahan.com.
Buenas tardes. Hello, everybody. Maria Nunez. I have the honor of serving on the City of San Marcos City Council. I represent District 1, our majority Latino district. And I want to take the time to remind everybody that we have our city council meetings twice a month, for the 2nd and the 4th Tuesday, starting at 6 p.m. And we're going to be making some really important decisions for our city. This past Wednesday, we had our council goal setting workshop. I was really glad to see some familiar faces at the workshop. And the number 1 priority for our city is dealing with our structural budget deficit that we have, that we're facing. And so obviously we're in some really difficult times. And so what I would encourage all of you to participate and to come to city council, to come to our workshops so that you can help to make sure that we're addressing this critical issue. We have our budget workshop that will be held in March. Once we have a firm date, I'll make sure to let Paul know so that he could share that with all of you, but please keep that in mind. Thank you for the time.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is George Van Asselt, and I'm running for Central Committee AD 76. As you may know already, there are 17 candidates and only 6 openings. I'm only asking for one of your 6 votes. That means that you can vote for me and you can also vote for other representatives. All Mendoza as well as who spoke earlier. I tend to emphasize campaigning because you can have the best ideals in the world, you know, the best progressive ideas. But if you don't win the election, it all goes out the window. So I would like to see more participation in canvassing among other Central Committee members, of which I am really, I don't know, strangers.
Thank you, everyone. And yeah, as Rose said, I'm also running for Central Committee as well, with Marissa and George, and a whole slate of great candidates. Thank you. Oh, there are people on Zoom. All right, can we, Nate, could you unmute them on Zoom so that they could speak? If you, so anyone that has their hand, yeah, there you go. Just, okay, Dr. Patel, I think you can speak now.
Yes, good afternoon, San Marcos Democrats. I hope everyone is doing well. I am out canvassing, so I'm sorry I'm not able to join you in person, but it is really at that crucial time where candidates are out there knocking on doors, talking to constituents and voters, making sure we get out that vote. We only have 3 weeks left before the last day to cast your ballot. I'm happy to announce at this time that I got 2 additional really exciting endorsements. Not only has Attorney General Rob Bonta, a champion for safer schools, endorsed me in this race for state assembly, but also our Congresswoman in the south part of the district, Sarah Jacobs, who we all know as a fierce fighter for women's reproductive rights and worker rights in our community. Both of them have come on board. Team Patel, excited to have their support. Team Patel is also hosting weekly phone banking. If you'd like to sign up, please go to our website at www.patelforassembly.com or send an email to hello@patelforassembly.com and we will get you signed up. If you want to canvass, that's also an option. Just like George was saying, our best candidates are out there knocking doors all the time. And I'm one of those candidates, your friendly, not only San Marcos endorsed, but state Democratic Party endorsed candidate for AD 76. Thank you all. Have a good afternoon.
All right, and then Tim Balash.
Good afternoon, San Marcos. Timothy Bialash. I just want to remind you the ballots, of course, are out. I strongly support Dr. Patel. There's a coalition in the Congress, including Sarah Jacobs. At the state level, Mike McGuire, Tony Atkins is more interested now. She'll be coming back on board with this. We want to finally get universal health care with a single payer. And I put my website there. You know me a little bit, and appreciate consideration of your vote in this primary election. Thank you.
All right, is there anyone else on Zoom with their hands up? It doesn't look like it. So, okay, I think we can move on then. All right, moving on, we are going to do, well, actually, let's see here. All right, Kathy Steele. Yes, but Kathy Steele's gonna take care of it.
Hello, all. We're here to honor Mary today. We're here to honor Mary. Her history with our club is phenomenal, long and impressive. You and Richard joined in October of 2008, and by January 2009, you were named the newsletter editor. A short year later, you became president and have been a dedicated steward of our club ever since. For 5 years, you led the club through many changes. Jess Durfee, then chair of the San Diego County Dem Party, was the guest speaker at your first meeting as president in January 2010. Dues were only $15. Mary was born and raised in San Diego and graduated from UC Berkeley. Together with her husband Richard, they raised 3 children in the Twin Oaks Valley, where they have an orange grove and where they live to this day. Mary was elected to the San Marcos School District Board in 1991, where she served 4 terms and retired in 2008. She didn't stop there. She began another chapter in her life as president of our club. She has been a lifelong Democrat from a strong family of Democrats. Through your 5-year presidency, you attended every Roosevelt dinner, every Democrat state convention, and brought recognition to our club in many ways. You attended protests, presented scholarships to local high school students, and wrote letters to our elected officials, all the way up to then Vice President Joe Biden, who even wrote you back. In 2015, the Lake San Marcos Dem Club was awarded the 2014 Club of the Year Award at the annual Roosevelt Dinner for the contributions you and the club members made during your presidency. Thank you for your, I'm sorry, I lost my face. After retiring as president, you didn't slow down. For 9 years, you remained on the board as secretary and dutifully took concise minutes for our board and general meetings. Your voice, full of wisdom, served as a valuable resource. We are so fortunate to have you in our orbit, Mary. Even though you're retiring from active duty, we hope to see you often. We respect and admire you. Mary, come on up. First of all, I have a plaque. Mary loves her plaque. She has a wall full of plaques to honor all the great work she's done in the community. And this is just one more to add to the wall. And a little surprise, Mary loves her books. And we put together a book through a lot of nagging, a lot of pictures. And I want to thank Greg Armstrong for actually compiling the book. So Greg did a beautiful job, and I just want to show you a little bit. So people wrote messages. We have messages from a lot of people. And if someone's not in the book, it's because I didn't nag enough. Okay, so Mary, thank you.
Well, I'm shocked. Because, first of all, I didn't even remember that Joe Biden wrote me back. She has so many details. You have the letter. Oh, I'm so glad. So many details of my history with the club. I know it's been a while, but thank you for putting those all together for me to remember so many of them. What I want to do before I make a retirement, step out of my jobs here is present. I think I'm going to present this to Paul. Okay, sure. Yeah. Let me take this another book. Cool.
Oh, and I have an extra copy that I will leave with the club. So you'll all get to see this great book that Greg put together.
Okay. That's what I did too. I made this book up. I gave one copy to Betty and one to Fran because this is about the great party that we had in August at the Red Barn, where we celebrated Betty's 90th birthday, and we celebrated the San Marcos Democratic Club's 19th birthday, and we celebrated the founders of Betty and Fran. We wanted to be sure they were all there in mind and body before we let them go. So this is a book that I didn't put any words in. Just a bunch of pictures. So I gave one to each of them, and this is for the club, and I wanted you to hang on to it. For those of you who might not know, some of the old timers, their names were in there. That was great to have. And the other thing I wanted to leave with you, you might not know that I was able to win this beautiful big book It was, Obama's presidency. Look at that wonderful picture on the back, remember? Where he leans his head over and lets that little black kid rub his head. I won this at an award of, I don't know. Yeah, raffle, something like that. And I want to leave it with the club. I don't need it in my house. We'll put it over there with all the awards that I usually bring. Betty gave them to me, said, please bring them. Now I'm looking for somebody else to please bring them. Whoever wants to volunteer is welcome. So I'll leave that with you also. And thank you so much for a wonderful time here. It's been great, and I will definitely be seeing you soon.
Thank you. And then I think it'd be good if we could put those maybe on that. So Mary set up a table back there with some things from the club. Maybe we could put it back there, and after the meeting, so you could look at it. And then we'll try to bring it to the next meeting so you guys can all look at it then too. Okay. All right, we're gonna move on to endorsements. All right. So here's how it's going to work. I want to cover the rules for endorsements before we get into the endorsements. So if you go to the next slide. All right. So in the smallest font, you can probably see up there are the actual bylaws for how our endorsements work. But at a high level, we have to follow the endorsement process that's given to us by the California State Democratic Party and the San Diego County Democratic Party. And then we can only endorse Democrats. I think that's probably pretty obvious, but just to make that clear. And then the winning candidate must get 60% of the total votes cast by members, and a no endorsement vote is always an option. Always has to be an option. And then who can vote? So only members in good standing, meaning members that have paid, that have been a member for at least 30 days, who have made their first payment at least 30 days ago to the club, can vote in the election. And then no proxy voting shall be permitted, but if you are on Zoom and you are a member, you can vote on Zoom. You will raise your hand on Zoom to vote. That is the process that we use for voting. Okay, so we have two candidates up for endorsement today. They will each, can we go to the next slide? Here we go. This is the process we're going to use. We have two candidates. They will each get 2 minutes to speak. They will get 2 minutes to answer questions. Once we've finished that part of it, candidates and staff will leave the room, and their staffers will be placed into a breakout room, or just leave Zoom if you could. And then club members will then vote to endorse, not endorse, and if no one gets 60% of the threshold, then it would be a no recommendation. Candidates and staff can then re-enter the room, and if a candidate gets endorsed by the club, they'll have 1 minute to address the club. That's the process. All right, so our first candidate that we're going to hear from is Jody Clissato, running for Superior Court 41. Is Jody here? Jody's not here. Okay. All right. Is Jody on the Zoom? Nate, can you see if Jody's in the Zoom, maybe the set of people there? No? Okay. All right. Well, Jody was noticed. So as part of our endorsement process, if you could read those the bylaws, which you can see our bylaws online, we will send them an email and most likely a text message to try to reach out to them. Okay. And we try to reach out to them and try to make sure that they are noticed. We noticed them 7 days before the meeting, I believe. I'd have to look at the bylaws again. And then we noticed them, we send the club notice out. And so they are noticed ahead of time for the endorsement. All right. Corn Shepherd, are you here? Shepherd's not here. Okay. My parliamentarian, Alan, what do I do in this case? Okay, they cannot be endorsed if they're not here. So we are going to, do we just move on then? Okay, all right. So we're just going to move on then in that case, and we're not going to hold an endorsement today since neither of them showed up. All right. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our PAC presentation. We have the PAC stands for Political Action Committee. We are a group of people who are primarily in the club focused on electing Democrats. That is the political arm of the club. We have like our community action group. They do community service in the club. The Political Action Committee is about electing Democrats and actually doing the groundwork and the field work, and they work closely with GoTeam. So I'm going to have Michael Allen come up here and kind of give us a summary of the GoTeam, the Political Action Team, and what we're trying to do.
Hello, thank you everybody for being here today and being part of this club. We're going to do just a brief overview. One of the first things we want to do as a PAC is we got to identify every cycle, like what seats are up for election, like what candidates are up, and where's the balance of power right now for these local entities. And so we do a lot of research, and obviously there's some interest, one seat we overlooked, this school board position that Sarah's running for. It's not in our presentation, was not aware of that. So that'll be in the presentation going forward. So this is a quick overview real quickly of the partisan balance in local seats up for election. It starts at a high level. So let's go to the next slide. So right now in the United States Senate, the Senate is split 51-49. This is very close. We have an open seat for the California senator. We have three people running for that, 3 Democrats. That seat will probably stay in the Democratic column, probably won't make or break for the Senate. Let's go to the next. The United States House of Representatives currently when they were sworn in, I know it's changed a little bit with people being kicked out of Congress from the other party, but when they were sworn in, it was 222 to 213, and we have Scott Peters running for election in this district. It's probably a safe Democratic seat. That seat will not make or break the balance of power. Let's go to the next slide. California State Senate. Okay, I'm sorry. So California State Senate, Democrats have a supermajority. This is super duper important because under California law, you need a more than 50% to get a lot of stuff done in the state of California. So it's good that California has a supermajority. There is no senator, a local senator up for re-election in this district this year that is a Republican, and that seat will come up in 2026. So we'll have a chance to flip that seat in 2026 in the California State Senate. Okay, next, California State Assembly. Again, Democrats. State Assembly Democrats have a super majority. Again, that's super important because you need more than 50% to get a lot of things done in this state of California. And 8076 is our open assembly district, and that is a competitive race. The last person, the incumbent, is Brian Mainshine, and he won that race by I think like 2,000 votes. I mean, it was maybe 7,000. It's a very small margin, maybe 2%. So this will be a very crucial seat to hold going into the next election, because like I said, in the state of California, you need a supermajority to get a lot of stuff done, and we've got a supermajority, we've got to hold on to it. And the Republican running against us in that seat is an extremist, and we need to keep that person out of the government. So whoever wins the primary, we really have to work hard for them to win the general election. San Marcos City Council. Now, this is some bad news here. We have a Democratic plurality of voters here in San Marcos, but our city council is split 4 Republicans and 1 independent. Rhea being our independent, mostly aligned with us Democrat person. The seats that are open this election are seat 3, which is open because the Republican has been turned out. That's Jenkins. She's turned out. She can't run anymore. And seat 4, which is Musgrove. So we have an excellent candidate running for seat 3 here, Alan. And seat 4, we're still looking for a candidate. So if anybody wants to run for city council in seat 4, come talk to us. So that's the city council. School district. This is important too. Right now, the Democrats have a 5-0 power on this local school board. This is excellent. This protects democratic values. And 3 of our Democrats are running for re-election this cycle. Those are the 3 candidates. They will need your help financially and volunteer-wise to win and hold these seats and to keep the Republicans off of the school board. The people who are running against them are extremists. They're opposed to most democratic values, and we need to keep them out of the school board. So that's school district. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, Vallecillos Water District right now has a Republican majority, 3-2, and there are 3 seats open. We have our incumbent, Tiffany, who's going to be running for her seat for re-election. And if we could flip one of these other 2 seats, we would have a majority on the water district. This is a very important function here. Water is one of the most crucial things in our community because we do live in a desert. And so we will be letting people know about these campaigns, let you know how you can volunteer and help out with these campaigns to re-elect Tiffany and also flip 1 or 2 of these water seats. Okay, Palomar College. So on the Palomar College board, currently Democrats have a 3-2 majority, and we have 3 people up for re-election. 2 of our Democrats are up for re-election this cycle, and the Republican who's up for re-election, she doesn't represent San Marcos, so her district is like further out. Palomar covers a huge area, and 2 of these seats, area 2 and 3, are here in San Marcos. So some of you will have a chance to vote for either of those two Democrats and help them get elected to the Palomar College Board. In the Palomar Health District, right now, there's a 4-3 Democratic majority on the Palomar Health District. Palomar Health serves a vast area of North County, and three of the seats are up for election this cycle. 3 Democrats of our 4 Democratic majority, and one of the seats, Corrales, that's here in San Marcos. So it's Terry Corrales. She'll be running again, hopefully, for that seat. If we can hold that seat, we can keep our majority. And the other 2 Democrats are running are not in the San Marcos area. So those are crucial seats as well. And I think how we can make this happen? Well, the biggest thing you can do is join the GoTeam. So the GoTeam is the grassroots party of the grassroots level of the Democratic Party. We knock on doors, we call people, we text people, and we try to turn out the vote. And so joining the GoTeam is the most important thing you can do to help flip these seats. And we'll have, I'm going to turn the microphone over, I think, to, is it Natasha? Who's next on the list here for the, okay, let Paul take this over now. So that's your overview. Oh, last thing, we'll have this information on the website. It'll be in the newsletter in the future, so you can have this information to share with your neighbors and friends about where the balance of power is and all these entities and all these important races coming up. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to do a quick texting demonstration because there is a thing that we can do. So there's canvassing, there's texting, there's phone banking. And so one of the things you can do is send text messages for campaigns. And there's some frequently asked questions that we get about people who are like, oh, well, will my phone number be exposed if I go help a campaign send text messages? And so I'm just going to kind of go over the process. There are multiple platforms that campaigns use. One of them is Movement Labs, which you can see up there on the screen. You can use it. I believe this one is mostly on desktop. I think it works better, but there are other ones like Outreach Circle, which works on a mobile phone really well. And the way it works is that you sign up for an account for one of these things. You just put in like your email address and the passwords. You just create your own personal account, and then you will be sent a link from the campaign, and they will preloaded all of the phone numbers and information about the geographic area that you're trying to send text messages to. And these text messages cost the campaign a certain amount of money per text message. So it's not free, but it is, you can send a lot of texts in a session for the campaign. So let's see here. And then when you send the messages, it will not come from your personal phone number. So you don't have to worry about 2,000 people getting a text message from you and then blocking your number, reporting it as spam. And then when you send the text messages, you can just send them all, and then their campaign staff will either look at the responses and address the responses, or you may address the responses as well. It depends on what the campaign staff configures. And so, for example, if someone says, don't send any more text messages, well, then if you're responding to the text messages, you'll go and you'll actually mark them as opt out. So they will not get any more text messages. Also, most of the campaigns will get an updated list of who has voted. And so they will then only send text messages to people that haven't voted yet. And so the messaging can be fairly precise. And then it's pretty fast to send. You can see in this animation, and it looks like it's going really fast, but this is actually the speed of how fast you're clicking. So every time you click, it sends a text message. And so you don't have to sit there and like draft a whole text message and then send it. The message is already going to be preloaded in there, and you just have to click. We aren't allowed to just send 1,000 text messages without clicking. So you have to, for every message, you have to click something. But you can click pretty quick on your device. And then I think that's really it. So it really. There will be probably the PAC will hold, I think, like texting parties, or candidates will hold events where you'll go with a laptop or your phone, and they'll help you get set up. It probably takes about 10 to 15 minutes to create your account and kind of do the little training, and then you can send out 500, 1,000, 2,000 text messages to the area. That's kind of the summary of how texting works. Any questions? That was Movement Labs. Movement Labs, yeah. And that one's a little, you can actually go sign up for Movement Labs and they just have campaigns that are on there, and you can just volunteer to just go help a campaign. So I did that at one point. I just volunteered to help a campaign. I was trying to do voter registration. So I was just helping them send text messages. So if you just want to get practice before you actually help like a local candidate, you can do that. Any other questions? I don't know if any, the question was, has any research been done? I don't know the answer. Oh, Michael?
Yeah, actually, we do have some information from the GoTeam that's from our local research and Democratic Party. It's, the door hanger, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but the door hanger, it boosts turnout. If you knock on the door, no one's home, you leave the door hanger, that boosts turnout. A text boosts turnout. Phone call is persuasive, but the most effective thing in getting people to vote is the one-on-one conversation with the voter. And it really boosts the turnout. So all the things you do, whether it's texting or door hanging, lit drops, or calling or postcards, they all work. And they all boost turnout, but the most effective one is the one-on conversation with people that you know. So the strategy of the GoTeam is to recruit people who to work in their own neighborhoods, to talk to people they know. And over the years, you start to build relationships with the voters in your community. I'll be going out soon, and the people in my community recognize me as, oh, it's that guy here, it's Michael here, it's time to vote. I'll talk to them about the vote, the ballot, and that's what gets people to vote. More effective than anything else, but they all work.
Thank you. Any other questions? That was Movement Labs. There's another one called Outreach Circle. There's a number of them out there, and it really just depends on what the campaign chooses to use. As a club, we would probably like to have some of our campaigns in San Marcos use the same platform so that all of our volunteers are used to the same platform and they're not having to jump around, and we can pool our resources as a club. All right, so moving on, we have a door knocking demonstration from, oh, sorry, that's a question. Okay. Perfect. So after we get through the PAC stuff, then it looks like we are going to have an endorsement vote after we get through the PAC presentation here. Okay, so then let's see, we're going to have a door knocking demonstration with George Van Hasselt and Natasha. Test.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me now? In my years of canvassing, I've come to a few conclusions. The first one is that there is no only right way of canvassing. But what you need to do is find your own style that you feel comfortable with, and actually take it from there. My wife and I are extremely efficient in the sense that she serves as my driver. What that means is that we found that if I started, and the thing is, I'm only making up these street names. All right, if I started canvassing at the end of, let's say, Fifth Avenue, and walked all the way to the end of Fifth Avenue, all by myself, I would then have to waste time going all the way back to my car so that I could, drive to Fourth Avenue and start again. This is where my driver, Elaine, comes in. When I reach the end of Fifth Avenue, she brings the car, and the thing is, I can then start again without having to waste time. If there are houses across the street, that's no problem. I can easily go across the street parallel. But the thing is, I recommend a driver who can help you eliminate having to walk all the way back to your car, get in your car, go all the way down. The other thing is knocking on the door. I ring a doorbell first. And the thing is, I wait a few seconds. If there's no response, I knock lightly 3 times on the door. And if there's no response again, I ring it for the final time. And then before I leave my door hanger. Now, there are basically, three types of homeowners I have found. There is a dyed in the wool Democrat opens the door to you and said, well, I'm very pleased that you've taken the time to volunteer. And then there is a hostile Republican who, in so many words, says, get the hell out of here and leave me alone. Okay, in a case like that, I don't argue. I thank them and leave. Now, I enjoy confrontations, I should say. I'd love to be able to stand there and argue with them because that's just who I am. However, I always remember that I'm representing a candidate. And how would that candidate like me to behave? Finally, it comes to the people who were undecided, who still haven't made their mind up. In that particular case, I try to find a topic or an issue that I can use as a hook. I've used abortion, for example. Back in 2022, I walked up to a house that had Rebecca Jones and the door hanger on it. I don't disturb the opposition's door hanger because I don't think that's right. Anyway, I knocked on the door and they said, well, I'm undecided. I said, well, are you aware, first of all, that Rebecca Jones is a Republican and she's very anti-abortion? Oh, no, I wasn't aware of that. On the other hand, our candidate is very pro-choice and so forth. So I flipped that homeowner over to our side. I think in local elections, the party ought to do a better job as to identifying who a Democrat is, in local races, and who a Republican is. I know it's supposed to be nonpartisan, but I think it really happens. Okay. Do you want to sign now? Huh? Sign down. I don't mess with that because I know that there are Republicans who actually mess with their stuff, but that's just not me. Yes. I'm sorry, I missed that. Yes, if they haven't answered the door, I sometimes do. But the thing is, I don't.
Yeah. Let me,
Yeah, and
yeah.
that's what I thought you meant.
Yeah, all the GoTeam lists, you will always be targeting a house that has a Democratic voter or an MPP voter who leans to the Democratic Party. We do not approach Republican-only households on the
Right.
GoTeam ever. So
I guess I misunderstood you. If there is a Democrat in the House, of course I leave the door hanger, but it's all Republican. Oftentimes I don't even go. And now, believe me, when I was campaigning for Amar, he had a whole bunch of Republican households on my list. He really did, and I didn't agree with that. Because part of my concern is if I knock on a Republican household, not only may I receive some hostility, but I kind of generate an interest in him to actually turn out on the Republican side, and that I do not want to do. It's not my job to turn out his party. It's my job to turn out my party. And that's what I do. Let me see if I've covered. Okay, now, one thing I like to do, I knock on the door and somebody answers. I like to introduce myself, and that means I give my whole name. My name is George Van Hasselt. I am a volunteer for, let's say, Alan Gerassi's campaign. Okay, I give my last name because it shows that I'm willing to trust them in the hopes that they may trust me. And let's see if there's anything else here. Yeah, again, as I mentioned, occasionally I'll get somebody who's very nasty. I walk away. As tempted as I am to really fight back, and I am tempted, because I'm very confrontational at times. Many years ago, I walked away and I ran into a Republican who starts really tearing into me as to why I'm a Democrat, that I should be a Republican. And I said to him, there are only two reasons to be a Republican. Either it's because you're extremely rich or you're extremely stupid. Which one are you? Don't answer, I think I know. Anyway, but I mean, I wouldn't say that to a homeowner.
Okay, I just want to add a couple of things. Thank you, George. That's wonderful and all that. One of the door knocking strategies that Michael Allen really stresses is if you're going to do the door knocking, put the door knocker flyer on the screen or on the door already before the door is even answered, right? That way it's already there and you have a conversation. It's already there. They're not going to refuse it, right? So if it's already there, it's there. Maybe that'll spark some interest, or maybe they're not. You're going to have to leave it there if they're not answering the phone anyway. The door. See, door, not phone. Anyway, one other thing I just want to add that I'm just going to put in there, and I know we're running out of time right here, is and it's about confrontation. And I taught this in a lot of my classes over my years. Is you're going to have people that have an objection or a concern. One of the things is we use this two words, and we should take it out of our vocabulary when we're talking about objections and concerns, is saying, I understand. When someone says an objection, when you say, I understand, number one, do you really understand it? Because it's their objection or concern, not yours. So, and they can really come back and say, oh, you understand, then they could just go in a tirade. And I've taught this in classes a lot of times. So instead of just saying, I understand, just do a neutral acknowledgement saying, oh, what I hear you saying is this, you have some issues with the border. Tell me what issues you do have. You ask a follow-up question. That really takes that up, makes that less of a chance for them to get back at you. So take the word I understand. If you're going to answer them, don't make it your issue. Let them have that issue out there. So those are just one thing. I know everybody does it differently, but as we talk about, I know I talked to George about this. It's something to try. Try taking that out of your vocabulary.
The other thing I want to mention is that at the end of your conversation with the homeowner, I always ask, can I count on your support? You'd be surprised how many people don't ask that question. I used to be a real estate agent at one time, and whenever I showed somebody a house, which I thought might be a good buy for them, I would always end by saying, would you like to buy this house? And if they started hemmed and hawed a little bit, I would say, I think you should buy this house, because an awful lot of people like to have their minds made up for them, and they like to feel safe. If you agree with I once had an attorney say to me that, I give my client in a settlement 3 choices, and whichever one he chooses, I agree with him. And this way he feels good.
Let's do a demonstration.
Okay.
I think that's what they need to see. I'm the person at the door. You're coming to me. You're knocking at my door.
No.
Hello, who's there?
My name is George Van Hasselt. I may volunteer for Alan Gerassi's campaign. And I was wondering, have you been following the election at all? I mean,
Oh, yeah, very closely. And I already have, look, my ballot already has him on there.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your support. I turn around and leave. Now, there is one thing I just want to say. Okay, there is one thing I just want to say. Yes, I understand you're leaving the door hanger at the door just before you ring it. I like to hand them the door hanger after they answer the door. I mean, it's kind of a way of being in closer contact with them. And the other thing I do, which you don't have to, but the thing is, it's worked for me. At the end, if I get an acknowledgement that I can count on their support, I shake hands with them. And that has worked an awful lot of times because by shaking hands with me, it becomes a bond. Now, I know a lot of people, because of COVID, may not like that.
So, thank you. We're going to do something just a little bit different. Everybody stand up. You've been sitting for way too long. Stand up, stand up. Now, we're not going to pick the person on your right because we go left. So, a person on your left, pretend one of you, whoever's on your left, one of the person is, you're the door knocker and the other person is the homeowner. So go ahead, just pretend this is just time, knock on the door, say your name, do all that. It's just something, just to try something different. What would you do if you were at that door? Go ahead with Leon.
You have to ask a question. Hi, we didn't do that. So, at that point, is fabulous. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's
How does that feel? Getting up, talking to people, positive way to get out there and do those door knockings. Thank you, everyone. Once you're done, you can sit down and we can continue with our program.
I'm so yeah, you said. Yeah, first I introduced myself. So it seems to be like any of the same as okay, but it's actually.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on with the next part of our agenda here. We are going to move some things around, so we're gonna do the endorsement consideration now. So can I have, is Jody Cassettle, is she on the Zoom?
I am here.
Okay, perfect. So you're gonna have 2 minutes to, you have 2 minutes to speak and then 2 minutes to answer questions. And then we'll do Corin after that. And then once you do the 2 minutes to speak and then 2 minutes to answer questions, then we will, you'll have to leave the Zoom or we can put you in a breakout room. And then the club will do the consideration and then you can come back in. All right, so can we have Jody, if you could give a 2-minute introduction or your 2-minute speech?
Before I do, right now it's sharing screen, so I can't see people very well. Could you possibly unshare the screen?
Sure. Nate, could you maybe move the Zoom over into so it shows the camera? Yeah, and maybe we could see Jody on the screen. I don't know if you can move the Zoom over. There we go. Okay, perfect.
Great. Okay, are you ready for me to start?
Yes.
All right, thank you. I'm Jody Clisotto. I am running for San Diego County Superior Court Judge in seat 41. The seat numbers are just sort of election placeholders. They don't really have any bearing. The presiding judge will decide where new judges get placed throughout the county and in what department. I'm running for judge because I'm a longtime advocate for equal justice and equal access to justice. I believe it's critical that our judges approach all cases with an open mind, that they carefully consider the facts and the law in every case, that they consciously work to overcome any implicit biases they may have, and that they treat all people who come before the court with dignity and respect. And these are principles that I've applied throughout my legal career. I've been a civil trial lawyer for 30 years. I spent the first half of my career in private practice. I was a partner at a national law firm. And for the last 17 years, I've been with the California Department of Justice, where I'm the Senior Assistant Attorney General, overseeing the tort and condemnation section, overseeing approximately 90 some attorneys and paralegals who defend the state in various types of lawsuits. I've tried cases in state and federal court and addressed complex areas of law throughout my career. My opponent is a deputy district attorney, a prosecutor endorsed by the Republican Party, and I'm endorsed by the Democratic Party, as well as a number of Democratic clubs, San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria, State Senator President Pro Tem Tony Atkins, a number of elected officials, many judges, and many legal community leaders. I've been very active in our legal community. I'm currently president of California Women Lawyers, and I am also co-president locally of the Tom Homan LGBTQ+ Law Association. I've also previously served on the San Diego County Bar Association Board and the Lawyers Club. We really appreciate your support, and it's very important to get the word out because the March 5th primary is it that will decide the race. So thank you very much. All voters in San Diego County vote in these races, these judicial races. Thank you.
And then we're gonna have, because these two races are not running, these two candidates are not running against each other. So Jody Quesado is running for Superior Court 41 and Corin Shepard is running for Superior Court 43. Corin, can I have you give your 2-minute introduction now?
Yes, I want to say thanks to everybody, and I echo everything that Jody said about how important this race is. I know that the clubs have been hearing about how the Republicans are really targeting these down ballot races. And so that is absolutely happening. That's happening even with our race. In fact, we've had our opponents go to Democratic clubs trying to pass themselves off as nonpartisan candidates. And I know that at least one of them lives in North County. So they're up there trying to infiltrate. A little bit about me. I have been a family law attorney for the last 15 years, and I have been a legal specialist in family law for the last 5 years, which means I took an extra test. I had to do extra education to get that, and I had to have a certain amount of experience in order to get that and qualify, and I have to continue to requalify. I'm also a minors counsel, which means I represent children. I'm a court-appointed counsel for kids, and I have to, again, requalify for that every year, which means extra education. I also am an adjunct professor at Thomas Jefferson School of Law. I teach California civil procedure. I will also be teaching an intersession class on civil discovery because I want the students to have practical skills as well as a legal education so they can get better jobs. That's a pretty diverse school. And so having the ability to get diverse students good jobs and good work skills is very important. So I want to take my spirit of teaching and the law and bring that to the bench because we do not have nearly enough bench officers who know family. The family court systems are going to touch a lot of lives. We deal with children, homes, savings, domestic violence victims. We deal with a lot of really important issues. In fact, the stuff that people care about the most and they work the hardest for. And we don't have nearly enough bench officers who actually know and practice this area. Most of the time they put the new judges there, they don't know what they're doing, and I want to be able to change that and so we can better serve the community. I wasn't sure if that was 2 or 30 seconds, but I will stop now.
Thank you. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do some question and answers for 4 minutes. But what we're going to do is to move this along. We're going to have someone ask a question from here, and then both candidates will respond to the same question. And so does anyone have any questions for the candidates? Do you need a minute? All right. Does anyone else have a question for the candidates? Oh, Maria?
Thank you, Paul. My question is for Corey. I didn't hear in your 2 minutes about your broader community involvement, either within the legal profession or outside.
Well, thank you for the forum to be able to talk about that. So that's a great question for me. I have been involved in the Lawyers Club. I'm a mentor for the Lawyers Club and I volunteer there. I'm going to run for their board of directors here coming up shortly. So I've done that. I have been on the board of directors for the Foothills Bar Association. I was actually the president at one point. In the 3 years I was on that board, I was on the family law bar board as well. I actually had to step down so I could run here. So I've been involved in the legal community that way. I'm a volunteer at the San Diego Legal Aid as well as the San Diego Volunteer Lawyer Program. I've been a volunteer for the Veterans Village Stand Down. I've volunteered my time at the Family Court Facilitator's Office. And for those of you who don't know, that's actually a free service at the court where you can go in as a self-represented person and get access to an attorney who can help you file your paperwork. I also volunteered early on at the San Diego Law Library so that people who needed access to legal information, whether it be research materials, whatever, they would go there and get access to resources. So I've been a volunteer for all of those as well. I also teach yoga, and so I teach that at 24 Hour Fitness, but I've also taught it locally here in my community for free. I offer it up to my neighborhood for anyone who would like to come. So not law related, but certainly very nice for everybody's mental well-being.
Thank you. And Jody, would you, well, does that question apply to Jody? Maria? No? Okay. Is there any questions for Jody? Anyone likes? I see Ashkan, you've got a question?
Yeah, hi. I was just gonna ask, because it's a court election or judicial election, it seems a little different. And for both of you, if you guys have to anticipate incoming negative campaigning from your opponents that you mentioned, since it's a judicial election, and if so, just how you would respond to the general attack that right-wingers like them would probably lodge, which is just like soft on crime rhetoric, effectively.
Hi, thank you. Yes, both of our opponents are prosecutors, and I haven't heard any negative comments from them so far. They are fairly low profile races, but I would imagine if some of their talking points are, that they've spent their career prosecuting crimes, and that like I do a lot of my volunteer work is, somewhat liberal in nature. I do things like help incarcerated women as they're getting ready to transition back out into the community. And I help incarcerated teens through Juvenile Court Book Club, with tutoring and book club sessions to get them, interested in finishing their education and developing a love of reading, that will serve them, throughout life. So I don't know if they're going to be, doing any like mailers that are negative or anything, but they probably would do this sort of, we're the prosecutors, we're law enforcement's choice. They have all the police unions behind them. I mean, I'm a Democrat. I obviously also care about crime and want to make sure that those who commit crimes have the appropriate sentences and punishments. But I also believe that our court systems do some great things to make sure that people don't get caught up in the system. We have some good collaborative court systems that ensure that low-level offenders can pay their fines, serve whatever kind of community service or perhaps a sentence that they need to, and then get on with their lives without getting ground down by the system. And I think that's very important. There's more than just, being a judge is more than just the criminal courts. We have a lot of other parts of our court system.
All right.
Thank you.
So that ends our question and answer section. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask, the two candidates to. Oh, okay, all right, well, so that was more than 4 minutes of total questions, so I think we're out of time at this point. What we're gonna do is we're gonna ask the two Nate, can you put them into a breakout room? Do you know how to do that? Okay, so we're gonna put you in a breakout room while we have a discussion internally. Okay, so are they in the breakout room now? Is that what it is? Okay. All right, so, let's see here. So there's only one candidate for each of these races. Does anyone have any of, oh, George? Okay, do we have any objections to endorsing these candidates by acclamation? Okay. So if there's no objections, all those in favor say aye to endorse by acclamation. All right, the ayes have it. The candidates are endorsed. Can we please have them back into the room, and we'll allow each of them 1 minute to address the club. Let's see here. We're gonna wait for them to get back in the room. Jody and Corinne, are you guys in the? Okay. All right. Jody and Corinne, you have now been endorsed by the San Marcos Democratic Club. If you could please give each, if you can't hear it, there's applause here. You will each have up to 1 minute to address the club. Jody, do you want to start?
Sure. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Again, because, these are races where most people do not know who the judicial candidates are. Even lawyers often don't know all of the folks on the ballot. It's really important that you help that you're helping us spread the word, letting your friends and neighbors know that you've met us, at least virtually. And I posted in the chat that I have yard signs. If you would like one, I can get some to you. And I look forward to hopefully being on the bench and bringing my years of experience as a trial attorney and an active member of the legal community to the work of being a judge, to help our communities work better, or to help our courts work better for our community. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And then Corinne.
I always love following Jody because she pretty much says everything I want to say. I also put my information in the chat, and I also want to thank the club for the support. She's completely right. This is so important. This is actually the only time the voters get to select judge. The judges are usually appointed by a representative. So this is one of the few opportunities where the voices of the people are heard in the selection of a judge. And we may start here at the trial level, but we could also go up to the next level. So it's really important that we're, as voters, picking the people at this level who are going to make decisions about our lives and who may ascend. So please encourage everyone you know to vote. It actually does matter. And, just really get out there and spread that word, because we're trying in a big county to meet as many people as we possibly can. But short of being able to replicate ourselves, it's very, very difficult. So your support is absolutely everything to us.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on with our next part of the agenda. Carol is going to come up and talk a little bit about a couple things. One is there's some talking points that we think you should be aware of for this primary election, and then specifically like the AI party and some confusion around that.
I have 2 minutes, so I'm going to do this very quickly. Number one, AI, you've all heard about it. You know it's becoming more of a danger in politics, although Congress, I believe it's Congress, just passed a law saying that it cannot be used for political ads. You still need to be on the alert. It's being used phone calls. It's being used to jigger up videos, and you need to be careful, as I know all of you are, in checking your source material to make sure that we are not being fooled and tricked, and that people that we know who think they're getting information are not being fooled. So AI is really a critical thing to be aware of. The second thing that I want you to be aware of is the GoTeam. If you're like me, when you talk to voters, you want a couple of talking points. I have put together a fairly long list that I've gathered from the internet of accomplishments by the Biden-Harris administration. I've divided it into sections so that you have topics. If you would like it, let me know. I will email it to you so that you can have a couple of things to pick that you can talk to your neighbors about when they say, what have they done about immigration or housing or jobs or whatever. All of those are on the list. So if you need talking points, if you're concerned about what to say to your neighbors, contact me. I have that information. And if you're not on the GoTeam now, you need to start thinking about it and signing up for the fall. We will get you trained. We need more people on the streets. We need to be contacting almost every house in San Marcos so that we can turn out voters. You know what's at stake. Regardless of who you're voting for the primary, you know what's at stake in the general. We need to get people out. We need to get them practicing for voting. So contact me, contact Michael. It's critical. I'm done. Please contact us. We need you to work for it.
Thank you. All right. So I want to make sure we were aware of a few things. One, ballots are due March 5th. So if you could ask by anyone, that's when they're due by. The Senate race, the way it works is it's the top two candidates. Party doesn't matter. It's just the top two candidates, whoever gets the most votes. If you want to know where your ballot is, you can go to that website. The easier way is probably just go to sdvote.com and it will track your ballot. So if any of your neighbors are like, oh, I didn't get my ballot, well, they can go to sdvote.com. There's links there. Now it's kind of a confusing site, but there are ways to actually know where your ballot is or if they shipped it to you. And if you can't figure it out, there's a phone number there that you could call. It's all on the website for SDVote, and you can actually talk to someone and find out what the status of your ballot is, and they can send you a new one, or you can just go vote in person at a voting center. And we have multiple ballot drop boxes in San Marcos. Unfortunately, it's very small on that screen, as I'm realizing now, but there are multiple drop boxes. One of them is at the library in San Marcos. All right, so that's the primary election. All right, are there any executive board updates that anyone would like to share? Kathy, would you like to give an update? And Natasha, I think you wanted to also give an update as well. And Tanis, did you have an update that you want to share? Okay. Each have a minute.
Okay. I'll try to be fast. Thanks for the food today. I think we got a really good supply of food to donate. Thank you very much. I have a donation box in the back if you care to throw a few bucks in there. I'd appreciate that. Also, let's see, the books. So this is the last month of our diverse book drive. I only have 12 books. In the past, by this time, I've had 40 or 50. So if you plan to send books, please do so soon. Thank you. And if you have any questions, my address and name is everywhere, but you can ask me before you leave, and I will give you my card or some information. And Tanis wanted me to say that, unless Tanis wants to say it, about the cards. Okay, so last month you were so generous that you gave enough change for 2 utility cards for the UP community. For that, because that is their way of getting food back and forth. So it's my minute up. That's about up, isn't it? I tried to be fast. Okay.
Thank you. All right.
All right. Some of you are not on the GoTeam. That does not mean that you don't have any part in this coming election, and we don't meet again until after the primary. So how many of you have neighbors? Everybody has neighbors? Everybody has friends? Do your friends and neighbors know that you're an active Democrat? And do they respect that about you, that you're involved in political activities? If they do, then they're probably going to be wondering, who am I going to vote for? And they might be asking you. Or if you really had somebody over for coffee or cookies or whatever and said, do you know who you're going to vote for? Because I just heard 2 judge candidates that were amazing. I heard a candidate who's running against Daryl Issa. I know I have had an opportunity to meet in person both of the candidates for AD 76. And I can speak if you have any questions about those people, but I stand for them because I've had a personal contact. So that's just my big deal. You don't have to be on the Go team, but everybody in this room has a friend that probably doesn't know who the heck they're going to vote for, or even that there's an election. So just use your influence with your friends and neighbors, and I think that will help us. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Natasha. Natasha is in charge of membership for our club.
Okay, I want to thank all our new members. A number of them aren't here today, but yeah, I know. So I just want to mention their names in case you know them. It was Wayne Liu, James McCarthy, Les Goldie, Jeannie Tinsley, Philip Bowles, and Patrick Kissel. So those ones, they're not here. So we thank them for joining. Now we do have 2 members here that actually are here that are new members, Barbara Owen and Betty Mullen. If you want to stand up. They here? Did they leave?
Barbara Owen is unmuted.
Oh, I thought she checked her. Maybe okay. And what about Betty? Oh, okay. They were here. Well, that's okay. Thank you. And we do have one brand new member today. So Beth Seedy, thank you for joining today. So please, and oh my gosh, Susan Hall brought in 2 new members today, applications. So thank you, Susan. So we are just, this is phenomenal. But one of the things I want to tell you about is on their name tags. You're going to see their name tag that says new member. It'll be in yellow. Please introduce yourself. Get to know them. Welcome them to the club. So their name badge will have that yellow new member on there for about 3 months. By then, they're already in. So thank you all. I appreciate bring in those new members.
Thank you. All right. Dr. Arcela Nunez, do you have any updates for us from Universidad Popular?
Buenas tardes. Good afternoon, everyone. Just a couple of updates, I think, from our community. First of all, we want to thank you for your ongoing food contributions and just let you know how appreciative we are. This particular last few weeks have been really difficult for our community because of the storms and the rain. As you all know, in our community, many of the essential workers, farm workers, landscapers, construction workers, and all these families that rely on that income will not be receiving income for probably a couple of weeks. So we're getting a lot of families stopping by our office looking for basic food items. We are in the process of increasing our outreach and just inviting anyone from throughout our community who might be able to bring additional food donations to drop them off at our office. We've had a lot of families stop by in the last couple of days in particular, so thank you. We also just want to make you aware, we know Carol was at the last meeting, city council meeting 2 weeks ago our community is dealing with a very difficult situation in which 64 families who have lived at Villa Serena, one of the affordable housing apartment complexes, essentially are being are in the process of being relocated, and hopefully the city, in collaboration with the National Core housing developers, are able to find housing for 64 families. As we know, it is a real challenge. It is for the affordable, communities. So it's been a real crisis in our community right now. At the last city council meeting, we had the council chambers packed with community residents coming in to express their concerns. There is no housing, right? And so I think that is the crisis of the situation. We ended up having a Know Your Rights forum for a lot of the residents, but we anticipate that many of them will be showing up at this upcoming Tuesday's meeting. So if you happen to be there, we are asking that you support our community in this critical time and really speak to City Council on the need to provide the support and assistance that is needed. There is a lot that the city can do, and I know Council Member Nunez has been advocating, but again, she's only one voice on the council, and please speak up, do public comment, and talk about the importance of having affordable housing here in our community. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer and discuss more. And then just the last great news is that since we last saw you a month ago, since many of you are participating in the national really effort to increase citizenship, and we have our very own program, and we have so many community members here supporting us, we have 3 new citizens this month who will actually be able to vote in the upcoming election. So we're doing voter engagement with all of our new citizens, and we'll keep you posted. And if any of you want to stop by on Tuesday, we will have our citizenship class. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It looks like we have Michelle Krug, who's from the party, has her hand up, party leadership. Michelle, do you have a name? Could you unmute Michelle? She's...
I think I am unmuted, no?
Yeah, no, we can hear you. There you go.
Thank you. Actually, I'm the regional director for Area 22. I'm actually also a member of the club, just FYI, for many years. I wanted to make sure people are aware that the delegate, if you're interested in possibly running to be a delegate to the Democratic National Convention, the applications are open. It's going to be in Chicago in August, and you can just go to the cadem.org website. It's very obvious as soon as you get there to click on district delegate application. So I think the date that it's open till is March 21st. And you're welcome to call me with any questions, but I just don't want people to miss that deadline. And I was really glad to hear people talking about the fact that Arcella, in particular, about the floods. The floods have caused damages. There's spots of damage everywhere. I actually live in South Bay and in Southeast San Diego. It's very devastating, but there are resources. 211 is one place, but I can also forward to you a set of resources that the county is offering. I think those are the 2 main things. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna move on now. We're gonna do the opportunity drawing. Thank you, Ruth. I'll draw. Yeah. All right, here we go. Okay, let's see here. We've got, I think this is Martha Hayden. All right, there you go. Congratulations. All right. Okay. All right. And then, so we're gonna do one last thing. So can you go to the next slide, Nate? We are doing a new website and we need, it will end up looking very similar to the Fallbrook website because we're using the same company for our website. And it's got, we're gonna have a nice new registration form where you can pay by credit card as opposed to handing us checks. We're moving into the modern age here. And so we're using something called Progressive Nation. Very similar theme. And then we need a picture for our homepage of the club. And so we're going to take a picture right now of the club. So whoever wants to be in the picture, if you could please come on up here and we will take a picture. I think Nate volunteered to take a picture for us. And we're going to try to like squeeze together so that way it's not like a super, super long picture. Let's try to like pack us in here. Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah, let's grab the banner. Yeah, go grab the banner real quick. Okay. Yeah. Nate, should we scrunch in a little bit?
I think you're okay with my phone. I got you all.
Okay. Yeah. I just don't want it to be like a super long picture.
It is kind of long.
Okay, let's try to scrunch in more, just to get us. I think it'll look better on the website if we're a little bit tighter in. Oh, perfect. All right. No, I think this will be okay. All right.
Everybody,
It doesn't have to be on the edge.
premise.
Is that good, Nate, for the sign?
That's good. Can you guys just scoot in a little bit? The sign's a little off kilter. I don't know if you want it like perfect on straight.
That's as good as it'll get.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna take a few pictures. Everybody ready?
Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, do a few people want to go up on the stage? And then you can kneel on the stage, I guess. Maybe that would work well. Or you could stand. The sign's tall.
Yeah, I can get everybody in there. Good.
All right.
We got one more.
All right.
Okay. Everybody ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Okay, got about 5 pictures, so.
Thank you. All right, and with that, I move to adjourn. Can I get a second? All right, all in favor, say aye. All right, ayes have it. Meeting adjourned.
Oh, my God. Hey, that's
Good seeing you, Bill. We didn't get a chance to talk much. I will.